Lopez wants it away.
And it's hit deep to left center. Andrew Jones on the run. This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza, and the Mets lead 3-2. Matto behind the net. Sweeps it in front. He scores! Matto! 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 Stefan Matto! And the Rangers have one more hill to climb, baby! But it's Mount Vancouver! Anthony for three. Puts it in! Next by one with 8.2 remaining.
Joe Namath, number 12, has been the one big sidelight. He's come down here and he says the Jets are going to win. In fact, he doesn't even predict it. He says, I guarantee a Jet victory.
His first at-bat of the game. There's a fly ball deep to left. It's on its way. There it goes. And the Yankees are going to the World Series. Aaron Boone has hit a home run. The Yankees go to the World Series.
This is WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
That is right. Welcome to WHPC Sports Talk here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Michael Merlo. I've got Anthony Deus, Ross Levine, Matt Leonard, and Elijah Blain on this wonderful Monday afternoon, 4:02 p.m. And we got a lot to do today as we get ready for the Subway Series starting tomorrow at Citi Field, and of course the trade deadline, which is really coming fast next Tuesday, I believe. First off, guys, how are we doing today?
I'm excited for the Subway Series, Mike. I'll be totally honest. I'm so excited. I think they haven't announced it yet, but it looks like Scherzer is going to pitch Wednesday night, right?
Yeah, he's going to pitch. He's going to pitch against Herman on Wednesday.
That's going to be a wash. I'm excited.
Chalk it up as a win right there.
You know what's funny? I'm reading this now.
Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you. You know what's funny? I'm looking this up right now. Joey Gallo in 2015 was the number 9 prospect in all baseball, and he was playing third base. Imagine.
Okay.
Look how far we've fallen.
Yeah,
he was not bad in Texas for some years there.
Do you know why? Because it's Texas. Who watches the Texas Rangers like that?
A lot of people do. It's a nice
Not
market.
as many as the Yankees. But
Well, of course not. But
there's not a lot of eyes on him, so I guess he's just crumbling under pressure with the Yankees.
Yankee fans still complaining about Joey Gallo, even though they have the best record in baseball. They're not the best team in baseball, but no, I'm kidding. You have every right to complain about Joey Gallo, and I don't think you're going to have the right to complain about him very long, though, because I do think the Yankees are going to go out there and make moves, and we're going to start with the New York Yankees today, as they took 2 out of 3 from the very pesky Baltimore Orioles. And all weekend, they, a little dud on Sunday, but the first 2 games of that series, I was very impressed with what I saw from the Orioles. Ramon Urias.
Yeah.
Ramon Urias. What a stretch he's on. I almost added him in fantasy as a joke. After this weekend, somebody added him, and it wasn't me. But he had a huge weekend. Nestor Cortez with, I think, was a very encouraging start on Sunday, as you've seen some of these starters go down and you've seen some of these starters not pitch well. Nestor stepped up. And, of course, the big loss over the weekend, Michael King out for the rest of the season with a fractured elbow. That is, you can't even describe that loss in that bullpen for this team.
I blame Chapman.
What?
Why?
Yeah,
I think Chapman broke his elbow?
No, Chapman didn't break his elbow, but you have to close it out. It was a 4-run game at the time, and then he just gave up a 3-run home run.
I understand that, but what did you expect from Chapman? He hasn't pitched. He's always hurt. I mean, I think the guy's just done. He's just done.
Yeah, I think he's done too. I would DFA him right now.
Wow, they're paying him a lot of money. They're not DFAing him.
That's not how it rolls. But it's, you have a guy, he gives up runners on base, and if you're lucky, he gets out of the inning with 1 or 2 runs. But he usually gives up a home run. That's not sustainable.
No, he has not been good. He hasn't been the same pitcher for a very long time. By the way, if you guys dropped him, I think a lot of teams would take a flyer on him, including the New York Mets, if they weren't able to secure a left-handed reliever at the trade deadline, especially if Chapman was a free agent. But that's not going to happen. You just can't use the guy in high-leverage situations.
No.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you lose King now, who was your second-best relief pitcher this season. Jonathan Loitzka, who was your best relief pitcher last season, has not pitched well at all, and he's been injured. And you need him to return to form. And it's July now, and it's almost August, and he hasn't done that yet.
Well,
so something that was such a major strength for this team, and still is, it's still a somewhat of a strength. But something that was such a strength and the real strong part of your team is no longer, and they need to go and add a bullpen arm. We do have a caller on the line. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Matt, and I'm calling from Roslyn.
What's going on?
Nothing. I'm watching the Facebook Live. Who's the one at the bottom? What's his name?
Oh, me?
I don't. Ross?
He's like the one in the bottom corner. He's the one that's wearing the blue shirt.
That's me.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
That was weird.
That was one of the
That would be
oddest
me. Someone
calls
has it
we've
out
ever
for
had.
me, apparently.
That was weird. I'd be concerned.
I'm a little worried, honestly.
That is up there.
Little
with
concerned.
That is up there with the scariest of calls we've had.
That was really scary.
Yeah, that's top 3.
I'm a little concerned.
Top 3.
We had some interesting phone calls this week. I'll tell you about later. But
We've had a lot of phone calls, especially last week. We had a ton of phone calls.
no, I mean last
week.
Thursday we had a dump a phone call. I'll tell you that.
Well, I wish I remembered the number because I don't want to answer that person.
They're
again.
written down somewhere.
No, there's a list right here.
Yeah,
but
I know. It wasn't one of those?
I don't know. I didn't look.
Oh, you should look.
The list is useless because I didn't look. That person, you're a grade A weirdo. Don't call back.
Oh my God.
And thank you for throwing us completely off topic because we were talking about the Yankee bullpen.
Yeah, that's one of those prank calls. You gotta,
We've been getting a lot of prank
but
calls.
I
to be
like
honest.
prank calls when they're funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's
but
good.
But like when you get like a million of them, it's like
It's,
no.
it's not like Howard Stern. It's just creepy.
I like a prank call a week. That was just weird.
Yeah.
Or a day. I could do a day.
Maybe.
But anyway,
New York Yankees.
Back to the New York Yankees, who did take 2 out of 3 over the weekend from the Baltimore Orioles. Anthony, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Sort of off topic. Have you watched any of the Jeter documentary?
No, I have not yet.
Oh, I have.
I still have to.
I refuse to spend my time on that.
Shut up! Would you get over this? I mean, I'm actually no. We're stopping the show right here. You need to just shut up about the Jeter stuff. He was a legendary New York.
He's an iconic
He's an
New York
icon. Just
athlete.
shut the hell up.
Because he
deal
played
with
in New
it.
York, I'm sorry.
Deal with it. Oh
I
man,
mean-
you are pathetic with the
Wow,
Jeter hate.
wow.
Absolutely pathetic.
Can I just say something?
Go ahead.
I don't feel the same way as he does
You
because
used to. What happened to you?
No. I think he's overrated. Don't get me wrong.
Look, and that's your opinion, but
I'm-
Derek Jeter,
Hey,
get over it.
Hey,
Get over it, man.
I'm very excited to watch this documentary. I think it's going to be incredibly interesting. Jeter was a guy that not many people knew about. He, a lot of things were hidden. He kept quiet. Some things. There's a lot in this documentary that I do want to listen to. We have another caller here. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I don't have it out for Ross.
Okay.
All right.
That was a different number.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's what happened Thursday, too.
That was a different number.
That is prank call number 2 now.
Same person, too, so I don't know.
I don't know. It was a different phone number. The other one started with a 4. That one was with a 5.
Oh, that's... I know there's one with a 9 that we don't answer.
Well, whatever.
I don't know the number, but...
So,
all right.
Thanks again for throwing us off topic. If you call again, I wish I could threaten you, but I can't really threaten you. There's nothing I can threaten you with.
Swing and a miss.
Anyway, I am very excited for the Jeter
I know.
documentary.
I actually got invited to see the part 1 of it at the stadium, but I couldn't because I was working.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
So the Yankees invited you?
That's pretty cool,
No, not
actually.
the Yankees invited me, but somebody had a ticket to that event.
Yeah, no, I saw that was pretty cool.
That's pretty interesting, actually.
Jeter was there.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was there. They did it on the
Wow.
field.
Yeah.
And it was right before or during, I think, a Yankee Red Sox game in Boston.
Yeah, we were on the road then. So.
Yeah, so great timing.
That's interesting.
But anyway, the Yankees bullpen now, back to what we were talking about, has lost a couple of arms. Obviously, King is a massive loss. And, I mean, you can count, I guess, Loizaga and Chapman as losses because of how bad they've been. And, you can't really trust them. Who is left in this bullpen that you really trust other than Holmes?
And
Abreu was on and off.
Abreu's been pretty good.
He's been better.
How do you say the Italian guy's name?
Marinaccio.
Thank you. He just came back. He was good before he got hurt, but I don't know how he's going to be now.
Tough. The experience isn't there.
Do you know who we're getting back soon?
Who's that?
Zach Britton. So,
He was
good luck
awful
with
last
that.
year.
Okay.
Wasn't he really bad last year?
He was pretty bad.
He was awful. I
Ever since
remember
that Achilles tear, he has been the same in Baltimore and close.
I remember that he gave up the walk-off in the Field of Dreams game.
Yeah.
So
is that the last time we've seen him?
Well, there you go.
I mean, Clark Schmidt. I mean, I'd put him into a situation at this point.
You have to.
I gotta ask because I was gone for a week. Ross, do you still think this team has nothing to do at the deadline? They don't need to make any moves.
Well, they could use a bullpen arm now. And yes, there's legitimate reasons now because there's injuries. The point I was trying to make with that whole thing about when looking their record. The reason why I said that is because. Don't overly panic. I'm not saying that they should make moves. I'm just saying don't overly panic.
Don't go out and look for Soto.
Yeah, like you're fine.
You should make the phone calls for Soto. You should absolutely.
But you shouldn't go super aggressive on him.
Yeah,
hold on. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to Soto in a minute.
Your offense is still fine. Like I don't think it's like yes, okay. I know people complain about Gallo, and Aaron Hicks isn't great, even though he's been a little bit better. Just don't overly panic. I think you could use a bullpen, like one or two more arms. You could get a star because Tyone's not been good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's legitimate holes. There's some issues. I'm just saying don't overly panic when your team is 34 games above 500.
Well, you need to get another bat to beat the Astros.
I'll say that.
I mean, if that series wasn't clear enough that the bats went silent at times, you need to get another
doubleheader too. They play out of the All-Star.
You need to get another
swept.
bat.
Not only that series, we got an anonymous call. I don't know if I should answer
I wouldn't.
it.
I wouldn't.
I want to answer it.
Okay. Fine.
I want to answer it.
Fine.
Swing and a miss.
Hello? This is WHPC Sports Talk.
Swing and a miss. Big swing.
Do you have nothing better to do with your life than call this show at 4:12? Stop calling. You're interrupting.
And you know what the other thing is? It's not even you're saying anything of substance. You're just like you're being like a child and just hanging up the phone as you get it. Like at least say something. At least try to make it entertaining. You're just sitting there on the phone. When we pick up, you hang up.
No, these are loser lowlives with nothing to do.
Right, but I'm saying it would at least. I mean, you could at least justify it if they were going to say something. That was just. They answered. It's a crappy ding dong ditch. That's what it is.
Kind of.
Yeah, remember that time on this is when baseball season doesn't happen. Hot stove. Yeah, and they say it's time to say something. Yeah, say something. Can you please do say something?
Have the nerve to say something.
Yeah.
Stop calling. Go be productive with your life. Go get a job. Go to school. Stop being a loser and calling this show with nothing to say. Please, for the love of God. Anyway, back to the Yankees and the Astros, because we did see this. Not only did we see this in the 4-game series, we've now seen this in 3 games in Houston. The Yankees' bats have gone silent against this team, and I don't know what it is, but I can tell you one thing. Their starting pitching, their bullpen has been very, very good. So, yeah, you probably need another bat, or maybe the subtraction of a couple of dead bats in your lineup, like a Joey Gallo, could fix that. But I just think that this team is better right now, the Astros, and especially with the loss of a couple of bullpen arms, the Yankees are going to need to do something at the deadline if they want to beat this team, because in my opinion, and before they even played out of the All-Star break, I thought the Astros were the best team in baseball, and they've just continued that. They've gone 5-0. Obviously, we know they swept the doubleheader from the Yankees, and they went to Seattle and won 3. They swept them on the road, and they had come in winning 13-14 straight.
Yep.
So that's just how good this team is right now. And you're going to have to add multiple bullpen arms. You're going to have to add a starting pitcher, and you're going to have to add a bat to this lineup to try and beat these guys. Because, listen, you could say one thing about losing a season series to somebody, but the Yankees have consistently lost to this team in the playoffs. Now they've lost a season series 5-2. Like, they seriously got your number, and it's not just this year. It's not just 2 years. We have a long track record of this now.
I mean, I think the only course of action for the Yankees right now, pursue Luis Castillo. That's a big one. I really want him in pinstripes. Ross is saying no, but
no, I'm saying
no. Disregard.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. We have to stack up on the starting pitchers to make it competitive with the Astros. Getting a bullpen guy is a must-get, and I think the Yankees said they're interested in Andrew. I can never say his name. Yeah, I think that's a good guy to get. Hopefully, he gets faxed so he can play in Toronto. But if that happens, I think we're just as good as the Astros, if not even better.
I think
it gives you a better shot.
Yeah.
It definitely gives you a better shot. I don't know if it really puts you over the top. I mean, anything can happen. Most important thing, home field advantage. Get that. Absolutely get that. And don't let your pride about, we picked up Joey Gallo, we still believe in this experiment. Don't let that get in the way of getting home field advantage. Because it's him, his bats are now hurting the team when he can't. His whole thing is getting on base, and he's not even getting on base. It's clearly hurting the team at this point, and I'm not really too upset about that. I'm just saying that you need to add another bat at the deadline.
You're going to need another bat, and obviously a name floated around is Juan Soto, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Starting pitcher has also been a thing floated around for the Yankees, and, I don't know if they need a Luis Castillo, who I think is pretty easily right now the best starting pitcher on the trade market at this point. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you need to go that far and get a guy like that, but it wouldn't hurt. I think at this point the Yankees, and I said this, I guess 2 weeks ago or last week, that I didn't think the Yankees were going to go out and get a big-time starting pitcher. I thought they were going to add to their strength even before they, had the loss of Michael King. I thought they would just go and add more bullpen arms to completely strengthen that bullpen. But now they may need to do both.
I think that in terms of priority, it's definitely, I'm actually going to say this. It's bullpen arm, bat, starting pitching.
Wow.
I think the loss of Michael King is really impactful because I would rather take a shot against the Astros if I have a good, of course, nothing's going to be the level of Michael King, but if I have a good bullpen arm that is maybe even a degree or two under Michael King, I'd rather take my chances having that, instead of not just improving on the bat. I think the bullpen is more important. At least, let me actually change up what I'm saying here. The phrasing, that is. I like the chances of the lineup staying the same with adding another bullpen arm similar to Michael King than just getting another bat and not adding an impactful piece there.
We could field a decent offensive lineup with or without Joey Gallo in the lineup.
Joey Gallo.
Jolton.
I shouldn't even say his name
Jolton
right,
Joey Gallo.
That's
really that
no,
would really.
People say that.
No, I say that. As
okay,
a joke
if people said that, I'd be so upset.
You know what's funny about Gallo? Before, I forget when I checked this. This might have been a couple days ago before I checked this. But Gallo's OPS in this month, in July, was like 830.
Oh.
He was getting on base. He was, his slugging percentage was a little higher. But, OPS wasn't terrible. The batting average was 160, which is, listen, I don't like batting average.
If we put in Jacob deGrom in the 9 spot, would he be better than Joey Gallo?
No. Absolutely not. No.
I don't know. DeGrom can hit.
Yeah.
He's not for power like that.
He's an athlete. He doesn't have to hit for power. We saw what he did last season.
Just OPS on base percentage.
I don't know.
That's a tough question.
I think
the fact that we're considering it is sad.
The OPS would be higher, obviously. The slugging percentage.
By the way, IKF 12-game hitting streak. Imagine that.
So the home runs or no?
I've killed.
I got to take about that, but go ahead.
I've killed IKF. Okay, not only here, but on in text group and group chats, and I still stand by it.
Listen, I agree. He's definitely not the answer. I think he's an improvement of what they had last year. Yeah, you're going to have to get a better shortstop.
Yeah.
At some point.
Well, you have
not this year. Not this year. I mean, you can run him out there. But in the future, next year or 2 years from now, you have to change that.
You have the shortstop ready to go. You may have 2 shortstops ready to go, but the guy. You can't survive. I shouldn't say you can't survive because you can when you have a legit lineup that is top 3 with a guy with a 600 OPS. Like you could survive with that guy batting in the 9 hole and hitting 270, but it's not. As we quote Joe Girardi, it's not what you want. My friend, all weekend long, we're talking about the Red Sox, and he looks at me, he goes, well, it's not what you want. So I love that quote. Joe Girardi, imagine, I don't know if he said it in Philly or not. I don't know when he said this, but he did say this. It's so not what you want. Imagine, you're a Phillies fan, right? You're sitting there. You just blew the 6-run lead to the Mets, in the 9th inning. You have 7 runs in the 9th. He comes down, he sits Joe, what's the morale, what's going on in that locker room? He sits, he looks at you. Well, Johnny, it's not what you want. Imagine, like that's your answer to your fan base. I mean, I would die laughing.
Can I complain about something really quickly about IKF?
What? He's not great defensively.
He's not great defensively.
A lot to complain about.
But when looking at the dimensions of Globe Life Park, where they played last year, and now Yankee Stadium, the walls are definitely shorter in Yankee Stadium around the corner. Is it? Now, granted, I'm a big fella. I'm not as athletic as IKF, nor will I ever be. But is it that hard where you hit home runs last year in a bigger ballpark? And
How many did you hit last year?
Like 10. I could be wrong about that stat.
Still,
but the point is it that hard? Like, you can't at least get one?
You still got a big goose egg, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I got a prediction. I think if he's gonna hit a home run this year, his first.
Stop saying
it's
this.
Going. Would you let me talk before you? He's going to hit a home run against the National League team. I think that's the prediction.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Subway Series. I was like, no.
It might happen this week.
It won't happen against the Mets. It won't happen. It just won't.
Book it. I mean,
he's going to hit a home run against the Mets?
It won't happen. It won't happen.
That wouldn't shock me. Especially, it comes against Scherzer.
Watch Joely Rodriguez come in late in the game that doesn't matter and give.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be It's going to be a bullpen arm that gives that up to IKF if it's going to happen. I mean,
Walker definitely
this
not.
is it.
Like,
how do you hit home runs in a larger ballpark last year? And
that's a good point.
You can't hit one. You just can't hit one.
Just the physics of it all makes no sense.
Even just probability wise.
That's true.
I'm sorry. I'm sounding spoiled. I'm just.
No, I've ripped IKF. He's not great defensively. Yeah, batting average high. Whoop-de-freaking-do.
12-game hitting streak, sure.
His OPS is, in the 600s. Not great.
Yeah.
But, hey, it's better than what you had last year. It's better than what the Yankees had
but
last
it's not perfect. It's not it's not the long-term solution. It's just like bridge. It's like a bridge to the next.
No, let me ask you this. You remember before the season, the Yankees, didn't have a deal in place and they fell apart with Andrelton Simmons? Didn't that happen?
No.
I don't.
I thought they had a deal in place and then it fell apart or something.
No, but I mean, that's almost the same thing. I mean, maybe offensively or a little less.
Defensively, he'll be better. I was going to ask, if his defense was Gold Glove caliber, would you take
wait a minute. Wait a second. Yes, there was something.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Regarding Andrelton Simmons, there was something.
I was going to ask you though, if IKF played that level of defense that he played at third base, at shortstop, and batted with 600 OPS, would you take it?
I mean, I take anything that's an improvement. I'd take it.
I'm just saying, what if the defense was elite level, and then he just batted with 600 OPS? Would you take that as a shortstop?
No, because IKF's offense has been
It'd be one thing if you weren't running Joey Gallo out there and Aaron Hicks for the majority.
That's true.
Even though Aaron Hicks is getting better, if Aaron Hicks was hitting normally like he should be, and Joey Gallo wasn't awful. Yeah. Then, I mean, you could at least make the argument just because how good the defense is at shortstop.
Yeah,
but
you
right
have one
now,
bad hitter.
I mean, IKF's a second baseman. You're playing him out of position.
The third baseman.
Third base. He's not playing where he should be.
Isn't he also a catcher or something?
Yes, that was an experiment that they weren't going to do. But regardless,
we gotta stop talking about these guys. We're talking about terrible players, and yet we've got somebody on this team that is currently on pace to hit 60 home runs this season. That is Aaron Judge, and we all know that he is due for a contract at the end of this season, and it's going to be, a question mark whether he gets it from the Yankees, whether he gets the money elsewhere. There was a report out there, I don't know how true this is or, when this was from, but the Yankees were, willing to go up a couple of million more a season with their contract with Judge, but not to the 36 that he's going to want. Now, I've been declining this call, but it's actually my friend, and I just realized it. So we do have a caller on the line. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Dave from the Bronx.
Oh, yeah, Dave. Yeah, the Bronx. You're not going to be in the Bronx tomorrow night, so you better watch out.
I know.
Okay?
Tomorrow night I will be in Citi Field, ready to go.
Yeah, I hope your boys are ready to go. That's all I'm going to say with Taijuan Walker on the mound.
You caught one break already that we have Herman, who's going to be starting against Scherzer. I don't know why, but
already making excuses.
That's a valid excuse. He's been horrible. When he goes, when the end of that game is going to be 8-2. What do you want us to say?
Yeah.
When Herman gives up 6 runs in the first 5 innings, what do you want us to say?
Score runs.
Right. It's like when he pitched against Houston.
So simple.
He didn't want to win the other game.
Yeah, well,
but it is what it is. These Yankees, Mike, I argue with you all the time. Gallo cannot be in this lineup.
Agreed.
I know what you're going to say is OPS is up, but the OPS could be very rigged You know, when you hit a home run when it's 6-0 against the bullpen guy who's going to be bagging groceries next week, against the one starter in the beginning of the lineup, you can't have that. You cannot have bases loaded. He strikes out, ground. It cannot happen against these teams.
No, Gallo's got to go, and especially when you're playing the good teams. And I mean, really, the good teams, are probably the Jays and the Astros. But he cannot be starting against these teams. You're 100% right, and I don't think he will be. I don't think there's anything to worry about. In the next week, Joey Gallo will either be DFA'd or playing for somebody else, and you'll have a replacement. Most likely. I mean, it looks like it's going to be Benintendi, surprisingly, but we'll see what happens.
I know you're a fan of IKF, but give me that guy in the playoffs. Give me the guy when the guy on second, he makes contact with nobody out, and move him to third.
Yeah, and if his defense improves up the middle, then you're happy with what IKF gives you. You are. And
everyone says it. Every broadcaster says it. You'll take a guy you don't need 8 guys that hit home runs all the time. You'll take a contact guy.
As long as the rest of the lineup is filled out, you can live with an IKF who plays good defense up the middle at the bottom of the lineup.
Right, just get the one home run. Just get
Oh, come on.
Get that one off his chest.
Get that off your back and just move forward.
Hopefully he'll do it tomorrow night at Citi Field, man.
By the way, no, he won't do it tomorrow night. He'll do it against Scherzer.
Scherzer, yeah.
I would put that in.
You want to put that in?
Do you want to bet IKF home run against Scherzer?
I would bet IKF Scherzer.
You know how much money you could make if that happens?
You know what? Just do a hit. Just don't even make a safe bet. Just a hit against Scherzer.
Got the hitting streak.
You got the game tomorrow night or what?
I think I'm going, and then the rest of them are going to go.
I'm going Wednesday
or something like that.
I don't know if I.
You should go tomorrow.
You should go at some point.
Tomorrow is. I mean, it's going to be intense both days.
Yeah.
But tomorrow, it's the first one. You got to be there.
I think I'm going to go because there's almost.
You can say it, Vivid Seats. They're pretty good. Vivid Seats.
Pretty cheap for 500 for 500 level.
How much they going?
70.
Whoa, nice!
Really good.
That's really nice.
I mean, it's the outfield, but still, you're not really.
That's pretty good. You're in the building.
You got to be in the infield.
What?
You got to be in the infield.
Yeah.
Hyundai Club.
Yeah. So
you buy Hyundai Club tickets.
Thanks for the call, Dave. Good luck tomorrow.
Where are you
Taijuan
sitting?
Walker. Me, I'm sitting 500s in the infield.
Okay.
I didn't go crazy.
He's slumming it.
Yeah, I'm slumming it. It's exactly what it is. I'm slumming it. By the way, I have a great bet for college football, like a future bet college football.
Okay, because you know what's funny? I'm throwing this in last second. There's the odds are out on the interception leaders for the NFL.
Really?
Okay.
And I don't know if New York State you can do the prop bets, but I would like to get into that if we have time.
Yeah. I'll give you what my lock is because I'm going to Jersey on Wednesday, and it'll be placed the second I enter New Jersey. It'll be placed
the second. So when you're driving, you go up Ohio State.
No, that's not the pick. And when I get to New Jersey, because I can't bet on this in New York, so you kind of understand what it is. It's a player, and it's an award.
Okay.
In college football, so we'll get to that in a little bit. You are listening to WHPC Sports Talk here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Michael Merlo. I've got Anthony Deus, Matt Leonard, Ross Levine, and Elijah Blain. If you're not a weirdo and you want to talk about sports, you can call in 516-572-7440. We are going to move on to the Mets here, and we're going to talk about the Yankees and Juan Soto in a minute because, there's an interesting question that we can ask, but we're going to talk about Soto after we talk about the Mets. And the Mets did win felt like a must-win last night against the Padres to salvage the series and avoid a sweep. And their offense, thankfully, finally exploded because they had not scored a lot of runs if you even date back to a couple of those games against Chicago and then the first 2 games in the Padres series. But they explode for 8 runs last night and win that game pretty easily until Joely Rodriguez came in.
Yeah, the over. I'm convinced. By the way.
Yeah, no, the over was 8. The over.
Okay, fine.
Could that? By the way, could that be the Rodriguez's last game as a Met? I mean, that was pathetic.
I don't like him.
I never liked him.
It was pathetic, and obviously they're trying to get another lefty reliever. I doubt they'll let him go, though, because he's the only guy they have right now in the bullpen.
Shreve is gone, obviously.
Shreve's gone. Unless they were able to acquire 2 left-handed relievers, fine, he's gone.
But even if Shreve is healthy, I think the Mets value him for some weird reason.
Well, Shreve got DFA'd. He's gone.
They're going to.
But I'm saying if he was still here, I don't see, even with injuries and DFAing, I I think there's something that they like Joely Rodriguez.
I don't listen. He was terrible yesterday, and I was cursing him out. Like, please, why do you have to make this so difficult after a little losing streak?
Right.
But the guy hasn't been. I don't trust him, but he hasn't been awful.
Yeah,
he hasn't been awful until last night. He was awful, but I don't hate him.
But this is the thing, though, and again, so this is where my rage rant comes in because, so they get Vogel back. Okay, and Vogelback got on base a couple of times yesterday.
Got that crazy dash to the plate, too. Good for that guy.
Pretty good. And now, again, so the Mets bullpen has been a problem. And it's been a problem we know since the season has started. We all know that they've needed to look to upgrade that position. And let's be real here. Colin Holderman was one of their best relievers. And they move him, which is a bullpen's already a weakness, and you're making it weaker.
Let me ask you something, though. I get it. Now they're in massive need of a bat, especially a lefty that can hit righties, and we understand that.
They need power. They have no power.
Yes, and Vogelback brings that. Considering look at his numbers against right-handed pitching. I think out of every qualified player, he was 15th in OPS plus against righties. He's been very, very good. Okay, that's number one.
Yes.
Number two, and we can argue this whether or not you believe Buck Showalter should have trusted him in more spots at Holderman, but let's not act like Holderman was getting in the 7th inning or the 8th inning or, in the 9th inning in a tie game or whatever. He was coming in because, all right, we used a few guys and, it's the 10th inning and, Diaz has been used, Ottavino's been used, in some cases Lugo's been used. So, listen, I agree with you that the bullpen's a weakness, but I think the overreaction to Colin Holderman, who was not in the circle of trust, I think is a little, bit of an overreaction. And also Billy Epler's answer, and I'm sure I agree with him because it looks that way. It seems like it's going to be easier to get relief pitchers than it is hitters. And if you have to move, a lower level relief pitcher who was up and down, and he's had, not only has he been injured, but has a big time injury history. And I understand the control, whatever you can control him for a few more years. Injury history is something you look at. I think you do it. And you're going to add relief pitchers. You're going to add multiple relief pitchers at this deadline. I say, you do it.
You do it. And look, I think we know that the Mets are probably going to add one, if not two relievers, a righty and a lefty. They probably
could be three.
You hope they get three. However, we have seen a lot of what we saw the first two games, way too much in their history of the New York Mets, which is dominant starting pitching. Sure, it wasn't dominant. He was good.
Bassett was dominant.
Dominant. And the Mets have constantly, and I'm going to say constantly, that they have wasted those outings. How many times have they wasted outings from great starters? And
they do, Ross. They do it all the time, but we act like they're the only team that wastes great starting pitching. Please,
but it's more eye-opening.
Because we're in New York and we talk about the Mets and the Yankees don't do it. That's why it's more eye-opening. I'm sure many teams waste good starting pitching. It sucks.
This is also a different regime with an owner that isn't penny pinching and will spend money and look at Cano. That's a lot of money attached. What did he do? Made the baseball move. You don't think the baseball moves are going to be made at the deadline?
And Ross, it was very frustrating. Don't get me wrong, but they got. It was incredibly frustrating. I mean, first of all, Machado doesn't hit the 2-run shot if the guy doesn't if the umpire doesn't make the wrong call on that off-speed pitch on the top of the zone. I'm not going to complain about it, but. It is what it is.
That's baseball, and that's
right. Machado's supposed to strike out in that spot. He didn't. He hits the home run. And look, Bassett can't make that pitch. He made a terrible pitch, and he admitted it.
Yeah, and look, the issue that I have with that game specifically, you also can't blame the umpire while you lost, because at the end of the day, you had several opportunities to score runs, and they did not do that.
How many double plays did they ground into on Saturday? I think 2 or 3.
So that the Mets, Buck Showalter even said this after the game. They had opportunities to make that a non-factor, and they made it a factor. So, and again, we're not talking about a little week here where the offense is strong. This has been going on for 40 games now.
Yes.
I mean, this is literally a problem now. Not just the fact that, Because this is where I get on certain fans for believing the lineup the way it should be and that they should be better. Maybe this is who they are. I mean, at this point, let's be honest here. The first 2 months, as great as their offense was, and they were the best offense in Major League Baseball, you look at the analytics, they were very against the New York Mets.
They were lucky.
They were lucky. And the issue I have is I never thought their offense was going to be great this year. I really did. And I thought they were going to be better than last year, because last year was just awful, their offense. But you look at the players that they have, you need to go ahead and get Josh Bell or Juan Soto. I know that's unrealistic, but that's what you need.
Can you give two players that are, the team's going to refuse? Can you give two other players where the team won't refuse, the fact that they will trade them? Because they're not going to trade Josh Bell or Juan Soto to the Mets. It's just not happening.
The division.
Okay, but Bell's a free agent after this year. You could sign, he might not be a Met after this year anyway.
I get it, but they've said they're not, for the most part, they're not going to trade him. They're not going to trade him.
That whole Bell
they
thing.
hate the Mets. Rizzo hates the Mets. The GM of the Nationals.
Okay, but the point I'm trying to make here is that because they talk about the Mets talk about prospects all the time. You can't get rid of Alvarez. You can't get rid of Vientos. You can't get rid of Brett Beatty. I'm sorry. At some point, this team hasn't won a championship since 1986. At some point, you have to put the chips to the table. At some point,
Okay, Ross, you act like the deadline has passed and they didn't, make a move. They're
I'm
going
worried
to make
that
a
they
move.
may not do enough. I'm worried.
They are going to make a move. They're going to add another bat. They're going to add more bullpen arms. And by the way, you've said this too, and we saw it last night finally. Just because you bring in one or two bats doesn't mean this line. Look, the other guys have to hit.
Yes.
Marte has to come up in the clutch. Lindor has to come up in the clutch. Nimmo has to start hitting more. I'm just using guys as an example. The big guys at the top of the lineup have to hit more. And by the way, we saw it last night with a full lineup with Vogel back in there at DH. It lengthened the lineup completely. It almost like it fulfilled it. And there was no Escobar. You had Guillorme in there.
Good.
So it really did. You saw the difference already with one game and one move. You like what you saw. Hopefully that continues. And again, we use 2015 as an example all the time. Where they made a few moves. They brought up Conforto and they made a trade for Cespedes and they made smaller trades like Juan Uribe and Kelly Johnson. And eventually the other guys came around and started hitting better. That's what's got to happen here, and I think that's what's going to happen here. And I have a name that I want to throw out for a potential deadline move for the Mets, because I think this team has to seriously consider selling. That's the Boston Red Sox. After all, it's just...
Yeah, I agree with that. They need to sell.
It's what an embarrassment.
After Friday night, by the way, that was really bad.
That sealed the deal, I think, for them.
An embarrassing weekend. Not only losing 28-5, whatever.
That's embarrassing.
You lose the next two, and you look lifeless in both of them.
Yeah.
And what's that kid's name? Jared Duran, a young kid misplays the fly ball, doesn't see it. Okay, it happens. To not run after that ball, when it hit the wall and bounced right there on the warning track, and you didn't run after that.
Should be benched immediately.
Should have been benched immediately. He got eviscerated by the crowd, which he deserves. Yeah. Kid should be sent back down to the minor leagues. That's how bad that was. But anyway, that's beside the point. They're 500 now. They're a few games back of the wild card. They're done. They don't have the pitching.
Well,
they should make these moves. And listen, I'm not saying trade Devers. I'm not even saying trade Bogarts, although they might. Martinez is the guy that I want. JD Martinez is the guy that I want.
That's perfect for them.
And he went on a little streak where he wasn't hitting home runs, but he'll come back to life there. And I think a change of scenery also could really help this guy. This feels like, for whatever reason, I don't know why, maybe it is because JD Martinez was traded at the deadline once and went on one of those tears.
Yeah.
Yep. But this kind of feels like that Cespedes move. The JD Martinez move could feel like the Cespedes move to me.
To me, that is a perfect bat for the New York Mets. You don't have to give up too much for him.
He's a rental.
If you like him, he's a DH. If you like him, you bring him back, whatever.
Righty.
And also, you know what? The Mets need pop. Other than Pete Alonso, there is nobody that can hit home runs on this team. Let's be honest.
And that's why Vogelback was brought here. And you brought up...
They still need another one.
Yes, agreed. They need it for the bench, and they could probably use another bench bat. A smaller bat if they were to get a Martinez or a Mancini, who they're also really into. And Mancini, if he did play at Citi Field, would have 16 home runs. He's been one of the most unlucky players when it comes to home runs this season.
Well, they've ruined his stadium. That's not his fault.
And for whatever reason, other spots too. Like if you look at his numbers, he's supposed to have a lot more home runs at every ballpark, not just because of left field.
By the way, really quickly on the Orioles, right? You know the whole thinking of moving the wall back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, get better hitters that can hit just as many as home runs as your opponents do.
Yeah,
that's
right?
true.
That should
people
be the
hit no runs against them, like Trout, Judd, the better guys hit no runs.
Yeah, I mean, people, regardless, if you spend money and you get some hitters.
He's criticizing the Orioles, who are 500.
No, I'm not. It's more just the dimensions. Like you should be get better hitting. Take advantage of your own ballpark. That's like if the Yankees were terrible, which they'd never be, but the Yankees were terrible and they go, well, we got to move the wall back. Well, you built the stadium for the specific type of hitting. Get better hitting.
Your rant over now?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, kidding. They like the Mets like Mancini. Listen, they need another bat, and they probably need another bench bat as well to go along with Vogelback, who will play against righties. But I think the Mets are right there. They're right there to making these big moves, and obviously the bullpen. The Yankees are going after David Robertson, which I don't like. I want David Robertson for myself on the New York Mets, but whatever. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I got a.
Yeah, I was just going to say you're right. The Mets, they're raving about Mancini. They love him.
Yeah. They sent a scout yesterday to go see him.
Buck's got to be a big part of that, right?
Yeah.
Because he played for Buck. So
did he play for Buck?
He did.
Yeah.
Probably tail end of his tenure, yeah.
I think just also scouting, too. Their Major League scouts, they really like him. They think he can make an impact.
Do you think that's the end of Dom Smith? It has to be.
Oh, my God. Well, you know what's funny?
It has to be.
The Mets had been... The report came out last weekend that the Mets were talking to the Cubs and the Red Sox about Dom Smith.
That fits Dom perfectly as the Red Sox.
I agree.
I don't care what fits Dom. You know what fits Dom? The minor leagues fits Dom. You know what fits J.D. Davis? The minor leagues off of this team. Please, for the love of God. You know what? J.D. Davis, and if you go to the Met games, we brought this up, he has a high, hard hit it rate or whatever.
God.
Watch. He'll go somewhere else and hit. The balls will start, the balls will start falling for J.D. Davis the second he leaves New York.
Then what? Mr. Positive there, huh?
Me. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens. That's what happens. I've tried to stay positive. I am positive. I like.
Why do you say he's going to be good? You say he's terrible.
He's terrible.
Because it's how the Mets do things. The Mets trade guys away that are terrible for the Mets.
It's not that. It's not that.
They have bad luck with stuff like that.
It's the fact that he hasn't been hitting, and we've seen this. And this might be, going against what I believe in, and, no LOL Mets. But we've seen it happen. Like, these guys do eventually come out of it, and I don't think Davis deserves the chance to come out of it right now on a pennant-winning team. On a team that aspires to win a World Series, he doesn't deserve the chance to try and come out of this slump that he's been in all season.
Yeah, and by the way, in terms of the whole thing about when guys leave the Mets, they're good. First of all, you have to remember something. You have to trust Howie Rose and Wayne Randazzo said on the radio show. You have to have conviction in your moves. You have to know your scouts are right. And if you know that the guy is not good, you should know it's time to move on. It doesn't matter what a guy does on another team. Look at Robinson Cano. You released him, then he gets released again. I think there's certain aspect. Like look at I can name 3 relievers right off the bat. Familia, terrible with the Phillies.
Yep. Aaron Loop.
Like
that was a great move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. You have to trust yourself before and not worry about what a player does. First of all, if they're on a team that's constantly losing, what does that tell you about them? So, I mean, I'm sorry. It's about your team, and if you win, who cares what that other guy does on another team? Doesn't matter.
I'm waiting for Conforto to sign somewhere and go crazy.
That's right.
I want that to eventually happen.
Here we go. This is from Andy Martino from a few minutes ago. The trade market for Washington Nationals first baseman Josh Bell has intensified Monday. The Mets were not frontrunners to land this particular trade target, according to league sources. One league source with knowledge of Bell's market estimated that 5 teams were pursuing him, the Astros, Brewers, Mets among them. The Nationals GM Mike Rizzo was focused on completing a deal so he can move on to trading Juan Soto. The Mets have been in on Bell, but the sense is they have a better chance to get a guy like Trey Mancini, C.J. Cron, Wilson Contreras, and if the Boston Red Sox decide to sell J.D. Martinez, could be another option. So
Yeah,
we'll see what happens there. I was also looking. I was on baseball. That Baseball Savant page, which is like for real baseball nerds. And CJ Cron, who has bad splits, they back up his numbers, with home runs. So I've said last week when we were doing the show, Ross, that he'd be an option I really wouldn't like. But I'll take that back. I think if that's the move they make, then that's the move they make. He's had power. He's had power his whole career.
Yeah.
What?
Juan Soto.
Okay, let's talk about Juan Soto.
Before you go to that, real quick, what do you think of the Nelson Cruz rumors? I don't want him near the Mets.
If Cruz is... The problem is, if Cruz can play a position and can be a bench piece, that's fine. But the fact that you're going to have the DH clogged up by Vogelback, and if they were going to make the JD Martinez move, Martinez, then no. But if Cruz could play right field, left field, or first base, I'd say sure, why not?
Cruz
because
is like 40 years old, right?
Yeah.
Oh, way over 40.
That's a win-now move. How many more years? It's a 1-year deal.
Cruz is... his numbers, if you go from May on, he has like an 800 OPS, so it's just... His April was just brutal.
Oh, yeah.
But he hasn't been as bad as his numbers say, so I don't know. I wouldn't like it.
I
wouldn't either.
I have a name, Chris Bryant.
Oh, my God.
No.
Please.
No.
Oh, my
You want Escobar? You want Escobar?
Oh, my God.
I wouldn't touch Chris Bryant with a 10-foot pole.
It's 2021 again.
I'm sorry, you want 215 batting average or Escobar on your team?
I don't want $200 million locked into Chris Bryant.
That's 6 more years left.
I would rather Eduardo Escobar for the next year and a half than Chris Bryant. I actually believe that.
Wow.
That contract is going to end up being really bad. Ross, the guy has 5 home runs and 140 at-bats. 140 at-bats.
He was
5 home runs at Coors Field.
He was hurt.
At 140 at-bats. He's played 36 games
and he's
now.
playing in the outfield now, right?
Yeah, I get that, but what's his average?
He has a 300 batting average. 5 home runs.
And he's hurt. You gotta remember.
You would get him for power, though, correct?
Yes.
He's a power hitter. He's not hitting for power.
Yeah.
Okay, but he was
in a stadium where the elevation favors home runs.
Exactly.
He was hurt.
He had 25
Please, there was a reason the Mets didn't go after him this offseason. Please.
Chris Bryant would not be the guy. You could give me another third base option, and I'll listen. I'll be all ears.
I need to talk about Juan Soto.
Yeah,
How about Vientos, by the way?
Yeah, Vientos should be up, but I don't know what the deal with that is.
But Juan Soto is more interesting.
Mark Vientos should be up. I mean, he seems like he's ready to go. That's another topic for another day, though. You are listening to WHPC Sports Talk here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, 516-572-7440 is the number to join. Unless you're prank calling, then please don't. I'm Michael Merlo. I've got Anthony Deus, Ross Levine, Matt Leonard, and Elijah Blain. All right, guys, Juan Soto has been the topic for the last 2 weeks now in Major League Baseball, and he's still the topic. Right now, the favorites seem to be the Cardinals and the Padres. Those seem like the 2 top frontrunners to get this guy. But let me ask you this, Anthony.
Go ahead.
7-year contract to Aaron Judge at, whatever he wants, $36, $38 million. Or 15 years, $550 million to Juan Soto.
Juan Soto.
There we go. That's the right answer.
Juan Soto.
Thank you.
If
And
anybody
can I go ahead. Because I have a trade package for him.
Right.
And it's actually reasonable.
If anybody says Aaron Judge, you're just a little bit of
That's
a homer.
insane.
You're insane.
You know what? Yeah, I'm a little bit insane.
Yeah.
No. You're not telling me the next Ted Williams. You're not going to take the next Ted Williams over Aaron Judge, who's got
Juan Soto is
5 more years.
Is a really great player. But
No. Juan Soto's an elite player.
Yeah, he's an elite player.
At 23.
But in the outfield, we need a shortstop. I'm not giving up Volpe.
Stop. Sell the farm.
Did you just say in the outfield we need a shortstop?
Sorry, in the infield. Sorry. In the infield, we need
You
a
can address that
shortstop.
with a many different ways. This is my trade package, right?
What do you got?
Peraza. Florial.
Okay.
Dominguez.
There we go.
Waldachuk.
Volpe.
Hold on.
It's
gotta
going
be
to
in
have
there.
to be Volpe.
Sorry.
You don't say Volpe, you don't have a fair trade package.
Okay, if they want Volpe, then I want Peraza back. I still want to have Peraza.
Okay, fine. Yeah, keep Peraza. I don't think they're going to be...
Just give one shortstop. And you want to give up Volpe, I would do that. Volpe, Dominguez, Glaber, if you even have
Glaber's got to go, too.
Yeah,
King,
Glaber would
and
have to go.
Waldachuk. And whatever else you need.
King? Michael King?
Yeah.
I don't know that'll do much.
I don't think they're going to want him.
He's a good reliever when he...
Honest to God, I wouldn't trade him.
No.
Listen, if that's if Michael King is like the one piece you need to get,
Okay, yeah.
go for it.
How about Clark Schmidt?
But I'm saying, Do it.
Yeah, hold on. They would want Schmidt over they'd want Kent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do it. Get me Juan Soto. Listen,
Hey.
if Judge wants to walk after this season, then let him. We got Juan Soto give him a bag and a half.
And by the way, I mean, it's the smart move. I mean, it really is. You know, because
it's
a sure bet.
It's sort of, you know what it's sort of like, and it's different in some ways. It's like the Braves with Matt Olson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Similar in the fact that you're not re-signing your star player that, you know, has come up in your system and you're going after somebody else.
It's a move for the future.
Right.
And he's a win-now player, too. It's not like Soto still needs more years to develop. He's ready now.
By the way,
get it done.
Looks like the Braves made the wrong move there. I think they'd be in first place if they had Freddie Freeman right now. Anyway, you see Freddie's numbers? Freddie's
on fire.
Freddie's on a hot streak. He's having an insane year. Anyway, keep going with Soto.
I don't think Cashman will do it, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
he won't do it. But, it's nice to dream.
Here's the thing.
It is nice to dream.
Let's dream, and let's have a conspiracy theory brought up right now.
All right.
Aaron Judge, I wouldn't say made the Yankees look silly or have made the Yankees look silly, but he's won, right? He's winning right now, and the fact that he's having an historic season, he's going to get much more than the Yankees offered, and maybe even more than he wanted originally from the Yankees, which was the $36 million a year, right? Mm-hmm. So, sure, the New York Yankees and Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman and the entire organization are incredibly happy that this guy's having an MVP level season. They have the best record in baseball. He's going for their home run record. They're thrilled. But at the same time, when it comes to contract negotiations, I'm sure that, they're like, wow, he's really burning us badly. And I don't know if they think like this, but this is just a completely hypothetical situation. Don't you think the Yankees kind of turn and say, well, Judge, we have options too? Just like you have.
The only way you turn is if Juan Soto is a legitimate option, which he is.
Just like you have free agent options. Well, I got Dominguez, Volpe, Peraza, Schmidt, Waldichuk, all ready to go to Washington if you want to, play a game with other teams with us.
I mean, and on top of it too, I think if he hits free agency, Aaron Judge, I think he's gone.
Yeah.
I really do. I think he's
going to hit free agency.
He's going to hit free agency for sure. And I think he's,
Give yourself a better shot. Go get Soto.
And he also cannot be happy about, listen, he'd be happy if the Yankees were to get Juan Soto when he plays in the outfield with him and Stanton for the rest of this season. But when it comes to future and having Juan Soto here, he's not going to be thrilled because he knows that's his possible replacement.
Plus, here's the other thing. Juan Soto, 2 more years of control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't have to pay him for 2 more years.
But they're not going to do it. That's the sad thing.
You can let Judge walk. You can still have the contracts you have right now. And how about this? I'm going to be hated for this comment. Jacob deGrom becomes a free agent. Let Judge walk. You got money for the $40 million he's going to want.
Are you kidding me?
And now you got Cole, deGrom, Cortez, along with Soto, Stanton, and whoever else
this
you got.
This is
Anthony's head won't be able to fit out of the room by the time you're done talking.
And you probably have
another
Donaldson out of here.
Yes,
and you've got Peraza starting at short if he's not in the deal.
Stop.
I'm making Yankee fans dream, and I'm making Met fans throw up.
And he's gonna start drooling everywhere.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
As soon as he leaves deGrom. Well, I mean, even right now, I don't like him. But
deGrom?
Yeah, I don't like him. I
don't blame you.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him right now. And to me, I've said this, to help the team now, I'd trade him. That's just my opinion.
Ooh.
I don't think he's coming back. So why don't you get something now?
Mike, what's your college football bet, by the way?
Oh yeah,
guys.
Is this like the lock? Is this like game of the year?
I'll tell you this. Game of the year would be you take everything you own, the house, your salary for the year.
Responsibly.
And you put it on Alabama to win the national championship at plus money. For whatever reason, it's still plus money.
Responsibly.
That is ridiculous, but yes.
They're the favorite. I don't care. They're the best team in college football this year, and it's not close.
Alabama.
So you do
That's your lock. Okay.
No, that's not the lock. This is the lock. Heisman Trophy winner.
Okay.
The first one since 1997. Will Anderson Jr. wins the Heisman. His odds are insane. He's going to be on the best team in college football. He's the best player in college football. The kid should be the number 1 overall pick in the draft no matter what happens. He's a generational talent, and if you've never watched him before, go look up his highlights on YouTube right now. Will Anderson Jr., he is a freak. A freak.
Yeah.
He's the linebacker, right?
Yeah,
he's the outside linebacker.
Yeah,
he's the closest thing we have to college Lawrence Taylor.
Wow. If you thought,
basically,
if you think Micah Parsons from Penn State and on the Dallas Cowboys right now is great, and he's unbelievable. And if he was on Dallas, I'd be excited to watch him play. But I mean, still, he's an exciting watch.
Should I go?
This kid could
should
be
I go over to
better.
Jersey and do that?
Yeah, we'll talk off air about something.
Yes. By the way, can I keep the interception leaders because this is very interesting?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I want to hear this.
So 1 at +800, Zach Wilson. 2.
Oh, you mean quarterback? You didn't mean like corners.
Quarterbacks.
Okay.
2, Justin Fields.
Wow.
+900. Trevor Lawrence, Davis Mills, +900. Tua +1,000.
I would take that in a heartbeat.
Daniel Jones +1,000. Matt Stafford +1,100.
Wow.
Jameis Winston 1,200.
Fair.
Mac Jones 1,400. Ryan Tannehill 1,500. Now I'll tell you who I don't like, and this is weird. Davis Mills, I think you should stay away from him if that. I know John Mechie is going through some personal stuff. We wish him well, but I think Davis Mills is a decent quarterback.
I do too, actually.
I love the Tua bet for this.
Oh yeah,
I love this because Tua's going to be throwing deep balls, and he is going to be wildly inaccurate. He's not going to be able to do it. He's going to get benched a lot, but But when he gets benched, he's going to throw about 3 picks in a game.
That's going to be the hype beast pick. I don't like that. Read me the list one more time. Like the favorite.
How is Zach Wilson
Zach
the favorite,
Wilson
by the way?
+800.
How is
Justin
that possible?
Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Davis Mills +900. Tua +1,000. Daniel Jones +1,000. Matt Stafford
I like Jameis and I like Tannehill. Those are the 2 I would say.
The lack of faith in Zach Wilson's upsetting.
Yeah,
honestly,
we'll see.
He got that dog in him.
We'll see what happens with Zach this year. I mean, listen. I love baseball. I'm very excited for the rest of the season. Both teams in New York are great. The Subway Series, this week, and then a couple of weeks is going to be very entertaining. Yeah. But I'd be lying to you if I haven't been thinking about football.
Oh yeah,
and sitting there on a Sunday and doing absolutely nothing.
Watching Red Zone the entire Sunday.
I'm very, very excited for this football.
By the way,
can we see? Is there an over/under bet, a prop bet on Zach Wilson and his teammates' moms?
Stop.
Is there an over/under on
it's
that?
It's an under. Stop.
Fine. Okay.
Stop.
If
how about those giant throwback uniforms?
Oh yeah. Those are
beautiful.
Nice. I'll be honest, those are nice.
What about the Bears? Easy. I mean, these
Bears are gross.
These alternate helmets are getting out of control.
Yeah. The Bears wearing all orange. They're going to look like traffic cones out there playing football. It's really bad.
The Bears are going to have
that's
the worst
what their secondary is going to be too.
The Bears are going to have one of the worst records in football this year.
Agree. Yeah.
I am so happy about
one
that.
One of the 3 worst teams in football, and they're going to draft a quarterback.
By the way, Kayvon Thibodeau, over 7.5 sacks.
That's the jersey I'm getting in the throwback.
I was thinking that or Azeez Ojulari.
No, I'm getting
Get Thibodeau. Yeah, get Thibodeau.
I don't know.
He's going to be good.
I don't know. I want to see a year out of him before I...
You don't like Kayvon?
No, he'll be good. Kayvon Thibodeau.
No,
do you want a real risk reward? Get a Daniel Jones jersey.
No.
Real risk
Daniel
reward.
Jones, I can guarantee you, Jones will not be quarterback this year.
All right,
guaranteed will be gone after this year. Daniel Jones.
I'm going to think this is his make it or break it year, and he's going to make it.
Okay,
we'll see what happens.
Be prepared for C.J. Stroud. Just be prepared.
No, Will Anderson. All right, that's all the time we've got.
Wow, no faith
for today here on WHPC Sports Talk. For Anthony Deus, Ross Levine, Matt Leonard, Elijah Blain, I'm Michael Merlo here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Enjoy the game tomorrow and the rest of your night.